My manager asked me last week, how do we hold our project managers accountable to the process? And I sat there for a second because they already had everything. They had written stages, scheduled check-ins, a review at every stage gate, all of it on paper, and it was running. And the thing that was actually broken wasn't missing from the list. It was sitting right in the middle of it. And it had been there so long, nobody in the room could see it anymore. So let me put you in the room. The process is clean, 5 stages. At the end of each stage, there's a stage gate. Usually there's a review where somebody signs off that work that actually got done before the project moves forward to the next stage. That's the whole system. It's not complicated, and it's actually not badly designed. Here's what happened. The project hits, let's say, stage gate 3. Documentation isn't done, maybe testing isn't finished. The gate is not met. And everybody in the room knows that gate is not met. And then somebody says, and I want you to hear this exactly the way it actually gets said, because it's never said with any malice. It's usually said really calmly by a reasonable person who is trying to do the right thing. They'll say something like, we still need to keep moving. This project is costing us money every week it sits. And then everyone nods, because that's true. It is costing money. So the project moves on to stage 4. Now, nobody got fired that day. Nobody got yelled at. No policy changed. On paper, the process is exactly what it was that morning. But something did change in that room, and it changed permanently. You know what this reminds me of? It's kind of the same thing that changes in your house the night that you ground your kids for 2 weeks because you're really pissed off at them, and then you let them out in an hour, or you let them off the hook. You didn't change the rule. You taught them that what the rule is worth. So here's the first thing, and it's the uncomfortable one. So I'll go first. About 6 months into leading a team, I announced the standard. Every handoff needs to get documented, preferably in an email before it leaves your desk. It's simple, and everybody agreed. 3 weeks later, somebody handed off work with no documentation, and we were behind, and I needed that work moving. So I said, just get it to me by Friday, and I let it go. It's pretty normal. I didn't think I'd done anything. I thought I was being flexible. What I'd actually done was answer a question my team had been quietly asking since the day I announced it. Does he mean it? And I'd answered it. No, not really. So before you go fix anybody else's accountability problem, do this first. Sit down, write out each of the standards you've announced since you took the job, if you can remember, even if it's the more recent ones, but try to write down each one. Then next to each one, write the last time you actually enforced it. That gap between the 2 columns isn't a paperwork problem. That gap is your credibility. And your team has already measured it. They measured it before you did. Most new managers don't have an accountability problem with their people. They just have a list of announcements. If this is helpful for you, check out the New Manager Playbook. It has useful tips, scenarios, and scripts in it, just like this, for new managers. Link is in the description. All right, second thing, and this is the one nobody tells you. The reason you cave is not that you're soft. It's that you set a consequence you were never going to survive. Go back to the kid, grounded for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, and I can speak from experience, 2 weeks is not a punishment for the kid. 2 weeks is a punishment for you, or me in that case. 2 weeks means you're in the house with an angry teenager, driving him everywhere and driving you crazy, canceling your own plans and adjusting everything. So an hour later, you find a reason to cut it to 2 days, 1 day, half an hour, whatever it is. Not because you got soft, because you priced it wrong. Same thing at work. If this gate isn't met, we don't advance. That sounds strong, but what does it actually cost you? 3 weeks of schedule? A conversation with a VP who doesn't want to hear it? A number on a report with your name next to it? Probably. You were never going to pay that, so you don't. And now the gate means nothing. So set the consequence at the size you will actually execute on a bad day. When you're tired and when you're behind and somebody in the room has a reasonable argument for why not. A small consequence you enforce every single time beats a serious one you enforce never. Every time. It's not close. All right. Third, pick one standard. Not a system, not a rollout, not a process document that lands in everybody's inbox on Monday. Just one standard. And the next time it isn't met, you hold it out loud in front of the same people who watched you let it slide last time. And here's the part that makes it work. You say the price. What is the cost? You don't pretend it's free. You say, we're not advancing. This is going to cost us about 2 weeks, and I recognize that. We're doing it anyway because the alternative is we don't actually have gates. Because everybody in that room already knows the price. What they're watching for is whether you know it and whether you're going to pay it. That's inspection. In the military, we inspected constantly, and it was never about distrust. It was about the only way anybody knew that standard was actually real. You do that one time and the entire conversation about accountability in your organization or your team changes. Not because you built a better process, because you finally answered the question your team's been asking since the day you got the job. Do you mean it? So write out every standard. Remember the ones you can remember, you've announced, and the last time you enforced it. Set the consequences small enough that you'll execute them on your worst day. Then pick one, hold it once, say that price. What is the cost out loud while you're doing it? My manager asked how we hold our project managers accountable to the process. The process was fine. It was never the process. Every time we advance a gate that wasn't met, we made a decision. And that decision, not the document, is the actual standard. The consequence you won't enforce is your standard. Your team already knows what yours is. You're just the last one to find out. So this week, just one. Find that one standard you've already let slide. And the next time it comes up, hold it one time out loud and say what it costs. You don't need a new process. You need one gate that actually holds. And now you know what to do. If you're a new manager struggling with this new role, check out one of the videos on your screen, and I'll see you over there.